What's up, everybody? There's been a lot of talk lately about Kevin Durant's legacy as he's made yet another super team with the Phoenix Suns, as he's already teamed up with Devin Booker as of last year when he got traded at the deadline, and now the Suns have traded for another star in Bradley Beal. And this is not the first time that he's done this. Obviously, before the Suns, he was on the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving and James Harden, and before that, he was on the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, who had just come off a 73-9 season. Today, I want to talk about his legacy and what I believe that legacy is when he calls it quits and eventually retires, because he is 34 years old right now and going into his age 35 season. So he has probably max 5 years left. He might play till he's around 40 years old, but I just want to talk about where I think that he's at legacy-wise and what his legacy should be. Kevin Durant's accolades throughout his career include being a two-time NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors in 2017 and 2018, and he won NBA Finals MVP in both years, 2017 and 2018. He was a 2014 NBA Most Valuable Player, and he's been to 13 All-Star games, including 10 consecutive from 2010 to 2019, and then 2021, 22, and 23. He's a two-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, six-time NBA All-Time First Team member, and four-time All-NBA Second Team member, and an NBA Rookie of the Year in his 2008 rookie year. So where does Kevin Durant sit legacy-wise? In my opinion, the two NBA Finals that he won are legitimate because he did add something to the team. It's not like he was 38 years old and averaged 4 points a game. He was arguably the best player on the team. However, he did join a team that had just beat him in the conference finals when the Warriors were 73-9 and lost to the Cavs in the finals after the 3-1 comeback. They had just come back from 3-1 down against Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant on the OKC in the conference finals. So that is a bit of a weak move, and it does tarnish his legacy a bit, but I don't think it's as serious as people think. However, Kevin Durant has had lots of other talent to play with throughout his career, and he hasn't been able to win with that talent. At the beginning of his career, he played with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, both of which are MVPs in their own right. And mind you, James Harden wasn't the player that back then that he is today, but I still do believe that if that team had worked out the way that they should have been able to win. And even when he was with Russell Westbrook in OKC, and it was just the two of them, and then guys like Serge Ibaka, eventually Steven Adams, guys like that, he should have been able to win with them, because Russell Westbrook is another MVP caliber player, and Kevin Durant is an amazing scorer and is just a gifted basketball player altogether. So I believe that does hurt his legacy, just because he was expected to win there and didn't, and then left that team to join a team that had just beat him. There is something said to be on the same team that for your entire career, or even just to win a championship with a team that drafted you without having to leave somewhere else to win a championship. Guys like Steph Curry have done that. They've worked from the ground up. When Steph Curry got to the Warriors, they weren't a great team, but he worked from the ground up to make that a good team. Obviously, they drafted well with Klay and Draymond. Michael Jordan won with his original team. LeBron didn't win with his original team, but came back to that team years later and won. Then, obviously, he goes to Golden State, and he won 2 Finals MVPs over Steph, over Klay, over Draymond, all these guys, right? Steph had won back-to-back MVPs, was a unanimous MVP, and he still won Finals MVP over Curry. And obviously, you do have that 2014 2014 NBA MVP, and that definitely adds to his legacy, just because an MVP in any year, regardless of whether you win a championship or not, is a incredibly tough thing to do, and it's something that should be highly revered. After he goes to Golden State and wins the championship twice, he leaves for Brooklyn, and in Brooklyn he was teamed up with Kyrie Irving and James Harden. They never got out of the second round. And yes, I know that injuries played a part in it, but still, Kevin Durant as your best player, and even with one other star at any given time, should be good enough to get to at least conference finals if not go to a finals. And after that, he was traded last trade deadline to the Phoenix Suns. And Phoenix had Devin Booker, and they had an aging Chris Paul. Now, I'm not going to consider that a big three because Chris Paul was older. But Devin Booker is definitely an elite scorer. And in the playoffs, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker did play well, but they lost in the second round to the eventual champions, Denver Nuggets. And I expected better from them just because it was two stars. And I think that they, based on star power alone, they could have beat the Nuggets, but obviously because of the Kevin Durant trade and all that they had to give up, if they still had Mikal Bridges and still had Cam Johnson, I think that team could have definitely competed and had a healthy Chris Paul. But because of the things and assets they were used to get Kevin Durant, they had to forfeit some of that depth, and that depth is what won Denver the series. Because guys like Aaron Gordon stepped up, and I don't know, like other guys on that bench, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. They had so many guys that could score and take the burden off of Jokic as their star, but no one could take the burden off. So I'm not completely blaming that on KD, but if he does not win this next year with Bradley Beal, himself, and Devin Booker, I don't think that we can see him as a winner. That's the one thing that's been a hit on him throughout his career, is that he's not a winner. And I actually like Kevin Durant. I'm a big Kevin Durant fan, always have been, and even after he left for Golden State, I was willing to support him and just not just call his rings phony rings. But I think that he has to prove that he can win without Steph Curry. And I know it's like he won the Finals MVP and he was like probably the best player on the team, but without Steph Curry, he hasn't won anything. He's been in the league for how many years now? Since 2008, right? But he has not been able to get over the hump and win a championship or even go to a finals. He hasn't even gone to the finals without Steph Curry and without the Warriors. So I think that he needs, for his legacy to be complete, he needs to win a championship with Phoenix in the next few years here, or go somewhere else and be the best player on a team that at least makes the finals or wins a championship. That will solidify him as a top, in my mind, top 20 player of all time, if he can do that. But as of right now, I'd say he's in the top 30, 25 to 30 range in terms of greatest players of all time. Because obviously he's one of the most elite scorers that we've ever seen. He can shoot the three, he can shoot the mid-range, and he's 7 feet tall doing this. So he's very hard to contest or even block, because either he's going to be too fast for a big or he's going to be too tall for a guard. And there's very few people who can actually guard him well. So I do believe that he's been the best player a number of years. Even outside of LeBron James, he was the second best player for a lot of years. But I do believe that he needs another championship where he's the best player, like undoubted best player, and at least a finals appearance or two to become a top 20 player of all time. God bless you all. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Make sure to like and comment on this video, and please subscribe to the channel to help out with the YouTube algorithm. I am trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the summer, and your subscription would mean just that much towards that goal. Thank you. God bless.